Well guys, what are we doing on the homestead today? Well, let me give you an idea. We are processing our Cornish Cross meat birds. They are now 9 weeks old. By the way, it rained last night and they're really dirty. But anyways, we got everything set up. This is pretty much our standard setup that we do every year. We have videos on this as well. Just real quickly, we have our restraining cones. We put them in real quick to T-post. We baler twine that on so it, holds it a little bit better. We have blood buckets down there. We use a turkey fryer for scalding them, about 140 degrees for like 30 to 45 seconds. This is the star of the show. This is our Vevor chicken plucker. I've been butchering chickens for a lot of years, but only probably the past 3 years have we had this. I think this will be the third or fourth time using it. I'll put a link to it because it's one of the cheaper ones, if not the cheapest plucker you can get. That's why we never bought one before, because they're so expensive. But this thing works great. Got buttons down here. That keeps feathers out of the motor. And this, the feathers drop in that bucket, and we have holes in the bucket to allow water to drain out. Because what you do is you start it and you're spraying water with the water hose in it the whole time so the feathers come out. All right, this is just kind of our butchering table that we've always used. I always mention this, but my dad built this for wallpaper like, gosh, 30 or 40 years ago. We're gonna weigh the birds. We always get a live weight and a dressed weight on them, and just kind of the setup. So one issue is we are only doing, this kind of sucks. So we're only doing 15 birds today, I think. We started out, we ordered 30, they gave us 32, and what ended up happening was where we normally keep them, we were on vacation, we were on that Alaska trip, and the people taking care of the birds kept saying something was getting them, and nothing we could do, we were in Alaska. So I thought for certain it was a coon because it was basically the whole bird carcass would be in the pen just with the head removed. So when we get back, I set up a trap, a live trap, no coons, no coons, no coons, but we were still, it'd come and get like a chicken per night. Turned out I'll put a picture up here, but I'll put a game camera out, and it was an owl. So first time we've ever had an issue with an owl. So from 32 birds, we're down to 15. We're gonna reinforce that pen and all that, but we moved them to a different location, and for the last month, we've maintained the 15. What it means though is we had to buy more birds because we usually keep about 15-ish, and then we process 15 for my sister for Christmas every year. So what it means, we had to buy more birds. So we actually have 12 more birds. Well, yeah, I think it's 12 birds in the basement here, chicks. So it means in another month or so, we're gonna have to set all this back up again and essentially butcher twice. So that does kind of suck. But anyways, I think the water's up to temperature now. Actually, we're waiting on it to cool down. We'll get going here. We're not gonna show because what we're gonna do, we're gonna butcher them. You let them rest for 2 or 3 days to relax that rigor mortis. And then we cut them up and vacuum seal them and stuff. That will maybe be another video after this one, vacuum sealing them and everything. But we're not gonna show that in this video. All right, guys, so this one's coming out of the restraining cone. Put it in here, it's 145 degrees for 30 seconds. All right, take that guy out. Let him drain for a second. Take him over here. Put him in the Vevor Plucker. We've been doing 2 at a time. I think it even says you can do 4 at a time. I don't think 4 of these birds would fit in there, but you can. We've also done 1 at a time before too. And we do rooster and hen. So we do 2 at a time. So rooster and hen. This is the hen, it's a little smaller. All right, we have both of them in here. This is bird number 5 and 6. Take your water hose, turn it on. Usually spray them about 30 seconds to a minute while this is turning. That was only 30 seconds, but they look pretty clean. There's that bird. Okay. Isn't that so much easier than hand plucking, guys? And here is the other bird. It did rip the skin right here on that one. But anyways, we'll get to butchering these. Now, again, this isn't so much of a how-to. It's how I do it. But once you get in the groove, you can kind of do it pretty quick. Bend that leg around backwards. Open up that joint. Need to sharpen my knife real quick. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, we'll cut the head off this one, head and neck. Almost all of these birds we're gonna keep, we're gonna cut up into pieces, and we're not gonna keep whole. So when you do that, you don't have to be as, as precise on everything. So now we've got it like that. Pretty much the last thing to do is there's a scent gland on the tail. I'll try to get it to where you can see it, but you want to get that out. I'm at a really weird angle, but you want to get that out of there like this. It's a gland, and you can taint the meat. I didn't do a great job on that one, but you get the idea. The gland's out of there. What I like to do, I mean, all this just takes a couple minutes per bird. We'd still be plucking, probably bird 3 and 4 at this point. But anyways, put that in there like that, go up to that bone, do that, open that up, take your anus here, and kind of cut around it like that. There you go. Pull out the insides, and we do save the livers to eat, so try to get them out, as good as you can. There's the heart. There's the liver. There's the crop and the windpipe. And again, most of these birds are going to be cut up. But you can scrape that pretty good there if you want. Again, we're going to kind of further process them 2 days from now. The lungs kind of stick on the back there. It's that spongy stuff, right? Well, right there. So anyways, get that done, and then what we do is we weigh this bird. That's how we're getting that other weight, that dressed weight. So we'll turn this guy on, put that on, zero it. And this bird dressed, this is the rooster, weighs 6 pounds, 6.0 ounces. Okay, come over here. just kind of showing y'all our system. We have kind of perfected it over the years. The main thing being just getting a plucker. I mean, that takes all of it out. So rooster number 5 was 6 pounds, 6.0 ounces. My handwriting's not very good. It was 8 pounds, 14.1 down to 6 pounds, 6.0 ounces. I'll put all this in a graph, put it on the video. We'll get an average weight. And then what we'll do, usually, now if we weren't doing filming just on that set, we would have already had another 2 over in the restraining cones draining. She would have been done with this one, and then we would go grab those. I mean, it is a very fast system. But anyways, we're gonna finish this up. And I tell you guys, that Vevor Plucker, man, that thing is awesome. Well, here we are. It's about 2 hours later, guys. I think it was a little under 2 hours. We did 15 chickens. And we just, you know, took our time and different things. But my gosh, we would still, if we didn't have that plucker, we would still be, we'd still be plucking, you know, bird 7 or 8 probably. But the reason you use a bucket with holes in it, you can see there, good, there's all the feathers. But, you know, if you don't have holes, this thing fills with water in no time. So then we'll just take this out and put it in our plastic bag over here. One thing I figured I'd mention, because a large reason why I bought it is for doing chickens and all kind of stuff around the homestead. We don't have an ice maker or anything. It's not hooked up in our kitchen or anything like that. So I recently bought a tabletop ice maker. If you go with the big ones, you have to have a floor drain and all this stuff. But anyways, you can get bags, okay, which look like this. And the difference is they have a drawstring on them. And you tie them up, you know, you build up your ice and you tie them up. And y'all might think I'm crazy, but I've been bagging up my own ice. If you factor up how much that ice cost, thing's probably half paid for itself just this summer. Let me show you the chickens. So I used my small cooler this time, and I thought we could get 15 in there. Turns out we could only get 12. These chickens are bigger than what we've been having, and we also got them from a different hatchery. So I don't know if that was something to do with it, but these are covered in ice here. But I had to put 3 of them in a bucket, which I will then fill this with ice, put a lid on it, and we'll let these things set for 2 to 3 days. Then we'll vacuum seal them, but that will be another video. But anyways, I'm gonna take that information about the weights, the live weights and the dressed weights and all that. Hopefully I can put it into a spreadsheet and also post that on this video. Okay guys, so not everybody's into this kind of thing. Some people are though. So here's the numbers for the birds that we just butchered. I have a very similar spreadsheet that I do every year, and I just plug the numbers in. If you want it, I can send it to you. But anyways, these birds, September 2025, they came from Myers Poultry out of Pennsylvania. Okay, that could be important later. More on that. Birds are 9 weeks old. Birds 1 through 15 here. We put the sex of them. This is basically the information we collected on that piece of paper and, you know, in a spreadsheet here. Then you have the live weight. And this is just kind of wrote out, so 9 pounds, 1.7 ounces, but to do any calculations, you have to convert it to just ounces, total ounces. Same way with your dressed weight here, 6 pounds, 10 ounces is 106, you know, ounces. This is your dressed weight. This is your yield percentage, so this is your dressed weight divided by your live weight. I would say on this, main takeaway, so if you look at our average this year was 72.82%. Our average last year was 73.24%. You can also look how consistent these numbers are. I would just say yield on a chicken is about 70 to 75%. I think that's the most important thing with this column. I will say, if you look at our smallest bird, it was a hen at 6 pounds, 15 ounces right here. And our largest bird was a rooster at, this guy was a beast, 10 pounds, 14 ounces. That is 2 ounces shy of 11-pound bird. Now that's live weight. He dressed out at 8 pounds, 4 ounces. Dressed. That's unbelievable. I mean, look at this. 8 pounds, 4 ounces is more than a lot of the live weights on these birds here. But anyways, main takeaways here, our average weight, live weight this year, right here, was 8.76 pounds, up from 7.47 pounds last year. That's a big increase. Our average dressed weight, which is this column, this year was 6.38 pounds compared to 5.49 pounds last year, which means that's 0.89 pounds heavier per bird this year, or another way of saying it, 16% heavier this year. The only differences I can really think of, I mean, it was, we feed them the same feed. I mean, the housing's basically the same. I mean, everything is basically the same, with the exception of where we got them from. So, I don't know, they might have really good genetics for Cornish crosses or what, but the birds were definitely quite a bit bigger this year. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the numbers on the chickens for this first batch that we have to do. Like I say, we usually try to just do one batch a year. Makes it a whole lot easier, but we had that owl get half of our chickens, so I think we were talking, I think we have 5 weeks left to go on these chicks that we have, and then that will be processing day again. So good thing is we didn't really put anything away. We just kind of put all that stuff in the basement, and we can just get it right back out and use it again. Well, anyways, guys, I'll tell you what, feels nice to have the chicken done. Too bad it's not all of them, but it feels nice. It's always nice, for throughout the whole year to just grab a pack of breast or a pack of thighs or whatever the case is, and know that you always have them, and know that they were raised right and lived a good life, and ate natural stuff and all that. But anyways, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.